Yo, 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 you're watching the internet's most passionate family, that Reyes family, and in this video, it's part 2 to our love story. There's a little link somewhere that you can click to watch the first one if you haven't, but we ended the last one with my wife and her mom at Applebee's kind of wrestling back and forth, crying with each other, just bought our car, and so the question is, does Sarah stay in stay in Sacramento, or does her mom convince her to go back
to pack my bags,
to pack her bags, and then does she stay in Othello for a few months? So
I stayed. My parents, we all talked everybody down from the craziness and the motion.
And I wasn't even there, so like if I would have known like they were having this conversation, I would have been praying.
It was just me saying, "Ma, let me stay. I love him." So I stayed, and everything, ended up getting a job in Sacramento, was able to pay my car payment, which my dad was super happy about, and pay a little bit of rent to my aunt and uncle that I was staying with. Love you, Megan and PJ.
Yeah.
Because if it wasn't for Megan and PJ,
oh my gosh, forget about it.
This would not happen right now. There's so many people, like if there just wasn't for Isaac, if there just wasn't for Megan and PJ, like we probably would not be together. Yeah. It was those people that kind of helped mold our story with us. So we love them so much for making us
love you guys.
A success. November, my parents come back to Sacramento for Thanksgiving, and we had it with all of my dad's family because my dad has his brothers there, and then we ended up having a Thanksgiving with Alejandro's family at his mom's house.
So we're at my house, Thanksgiving, and
West Sacramento.
West Sac, Broderick to be specific. So we're there, my grandma's there, rest in peace. My grandma's there, and so we're hanging out with Sarah's family for Thanksgiving, and I don't know how it happens, but I think my stepdad at the time started, asking like, hey, and starts talking to Sarah in Spanish, like,
what's going on
What's going on? I think, it was kind of his way of kind of like just helping move the conversation forward for me, I think it was. So Angel, love you, man. I was really nervous, yeah. So he ends up talking to you, and they talk in Spanish about, asking her questions about what's gonna happen here, and Sarah ends up basically telling him that we're gonna get married, I want to get married, and it was just really cool. It was really awkward at first, but it turned out really cool because both families realized at that point, we're serious, we're gonna get married. At that time, I was working in the mortgage industry, and I had a friend of mine who actually sells diamonds, and I didn't have a ton of money at the time, but I ended up getting a really nice diamond. 1 carat VS1 1.03 or 4 1.04, and it's pretty close to flawless. It's an Asher cut. It's basically a hybrid between an emerald cut and a princess cut, which she likes, and so because she's my princess and she's the queen.
That's what Sarah means princess. Sarah
means princess. So anyway, so I do this, I get it, and we're going to Othello for Christmas, and we have to yeah.
Alejandro has been telling me this whole time, like, I'm so embarrassed that we're going to, back home to your family, and I'm just your boyfriend.
Real traditional family. So.
My boyfriends don't go to Thanksgivings, boyfriends don't go to, like, any events unless, if there was a ring, you were invited, but at the time, it was just like, I want you to be with my family, I want you to be with me, and it doesn't matter, like, they know you love me, they know I love you, and a ring doesn't matter. And he was like, there's no way this is gonna happen, I don't have enough money, there's no way I can afford a ring. And I was like, not asking for it at all.
Never,
I just wanted him to see what my family was like on the holidays.
Ladies, don't put no pressure on a guy. If it's the one, he's gonna get you a ring. And she never asked, I just knew one thing, she liked princess cut, and that's all I ever knew. And so just made it happen. So we're going on the plane to Washington, and I have the ring with me, and my plan was to propose to her on the plane trip there. And so we go, and the X-ray, I have to have my diamond her diamond in my backpack, and it's going through the X-ray, and this is a colorful X-ray, like most of them are black and white. This one's a colored one. You can see it. I'm looking at it, and she's like looking at it. I'm trying to talk to her. She's like, oh, that's pretty cool.
Because you can see in the bag
everything. And so I'm like, look at me or something. I started trying to distract her.
He was super weird. We had never traveled together on a flight.
I'm a weird traveler, maybe.
And he was just like super fidgety. He wanted to he was upset when I got to the airport because I wasn't wearing this green sweater that we had planned on wearing green hoodies together. And it ended up being like dirty or something, so I was wearing a pink hoodie. and ridiculous short, weird hair at the time. But he was like, why aren't you wearing the green sweater? We planned a match or whatever. And I was like, I was just not thinking this is an important anything. I just wanted to get home.
Yeah.
But he was just like fidgety, super weird. I was like, he must just be like a stressed out traveler.
I still am. I hate flying. So when we get into Southwest, at the time, Southwest Airlines had chairs that would look towards the audience. So everybody kind of looks, if I'm looking that way, that's the pilot up there. But Southwest at the time had 3 chairs in the front on both sides, 6 chairs total, that looked out.
That looked at the rest of the plane.
Looked at the rest of the plane in the back, right? So I go in, I wanted to make sure we're super early. That's why I was like making sure I was like fidgety and tripping out. So I wanted to make sure we're in the first ones to board. So we board. And I gotta go to the bathroom. So I go in the back, there's 2 stewardesses back there. I said, I wanna propose to my wife, or I wanna propose to my girlfriend on the plane. And so so they're like, yeah, no problem. And like, they were so calm, they were all good about it. And so she said, I'll walk past you about 15-20 minutes into the flight, 15-20 minutes in the flight, and I'll tap you. And so I'm okay, I'm like ready to go, ready to do this, and probably still nervous. And so they get the flight and they start going, and like literally like 10 minutes into the flight, they pass me and touch me, and I'm like, is this happening? I am not prepared. I still wanted like 5 minutes to prepare what I was going to say and all that good stuff. They make an announcement, and they say, hey, we have an exciting announcement here on this flight. We wanna, Alejandro Reyes wants to say something to Sarah Nicole Garza. Yeah. And so I'm like, oh my God. And so, Alejandro, can you do it? And so I get on my knees and I get out a pen, and we take it back to 2003, and I write not my name on her pants, wear the same leg. I said, will you marry me? I ended up, well, after I said that, I was so nervous and so scared. Keep in mind, for the most part, a lot of things, I'm all good. But for certain situations, I'm just like, I start like getting paralyzed or something. But I just handed her the ring. To this day, I never put the ring on her finger. I handed her the ring, and she put it on herself. There's a lady that took pictures, which was really cool. But she ended up saying yes, and they asked, like, hey, did she say yes? And so she said yes. And it was just awesome. Felt good.
The cool thing was a flight attendant was doing like a play-by-play over the loudspeaker. Yes, that was really cool. I didn't remember. So she was just like, he's on his knee, and everybody like, you know.
Everybody's like, what did she say and what's going on?
But she was doing like, he's riding on her pants. Yeah. Like, she was kind of.
She didn't even know that I was riding on the pants. So it was really cool. And then that all happened. There's people congratulating us. It was really cool. And they kept like, that whole plane ride was about us. It was really cool because they basically, on the loudspeaker says, hey, we're gonna pass out some napkins. Write down your best marriage advice to them, and we'll compile these and give them all to them. We still have these napkins. Yeah. And so it's just a really great flight. We got the photos. We exchanged addresses with this gal that took photos of us, me on my knees, thank God. Nowadays, like Instagram, everybody would have been able to, like, let me just text this to you.
Yeah.
But anyway, so it was just such a great thing, and we went and spent Christmas time with her family in Othello.
You did ask my dad, though.
Yes, about 2 weeks before that, 3 weeks before that, called her dad, and I you know, asked him if I can have her hand in marriage, and he said yes and gave me the blessing, and so I did it the right way. We did this for the most part, try to do it as the right way as possible. It's just like Sarah's, what she's done her whole life, and so I wanted to make sure to honor that. And
so we landed and called my parents, and I was like, did he ask you? And he's like, yeah, we've known for weeks. I was like, ah!
So that's kind of what happened. It was a great time, and you know, we planned, that was December, close to Christmas, like the 21st-ish.
22nd?
Second, or 22nd, something like that. And several months later, we got married on the 4th of July. It just worked out great. One of her cousins was getting married 2 days before us, and it just worked out perfectly. We had our
family came.
Yeah, all of our family was there. Our best friends were there. My grandmother was there. Her grandfather, both of those who passed away the same year, was there. It just was a great time. My closest friends were there. Her closest friends were there, and we're still friends with most of those closest friends today. And it was just a great time. Maybe you can put a couple pictures. Pinterest wasn't around, so it wasn't as like Pinteresty back then, but she got married where her mom got married, which was so special and so important to her.
It was the church where I got dedicated as a baby, where I got baptized, where my parents got married, my godparents. It was just like a lot of tradition was in that church, and I got married there too, and that was really important. It wasn't like this grand, like at a venue or something. It was just like more meaningful for me to get married there at that church in my hometown.
So that's our love story up until the time we got married. A lot of you have asked, like, how was your marriage tips and advice, and all that good stuff. So we're gonna make another video for you guys, but that was our love story. What was your big tip, one big tip of the love story, like for someone wanting to find love?
Don't pressure, don't push it. If you have to push something, it's not there. For us, I know this is not for everybody, but it just all fell into place, and there was no question of, is this the right thing? It was just always the right thing.
Yeah. My piece of advice, do it the right way. If there are too many red flags, if you're doing it the wrong, you gotta set yourself up for a great marriage. And I think we did it right. So we have a great marriage. It's been rocky, and you're gonna see in the next video.
It's not perfect.
It's not perfect, but in reality, it's perfect for us. We love it. So appreciate you guys. Make sure to connect. If you have any comments or questions for us, please leave them in the section below. Man, but I love this girl. I love our love story. Love this beautiful girl. And always remember, with a little bit of you and a little bit of us, we can change the world. Peace.